Hey, over here. Thank you. Can you try me off?
Yeah, sure. Hey guys, here's here. So this is the iPhone 7. It's been out for a while, right? Over 3 months. And over those 3 months, I have been using this daily, sometimes with another Android phone, but I have been using this every day. And what I've gathered is that this is definitely an iPhone and definitely an Apple product. But duh, right? But let me explain exactly what that means and why it makes it such a great but bittersweet phone. Let's get started. So let's start with what makes this an iPhone. For starters, it is a very safe, clean, rock-solid build. The edges flow over to the sides for a seamless experience with the antenna bands having been cleaned up a bit. I'm a big fan of every color option that's out, especially the two new black models. I think they both do the iPhone really a favor. The forever underrated mute toggle is still here and still just as appreciated by me. The buttons are clicky and of course metal, and the home button doesn't actually click now, it just emulates a click. Kind of trippy at first, but I've grown to really love the mechanical sensation of it. It's pretty cool. But it does require skin contact to use, so in the winter you're kind of screwed if you're wearing gloves without touchscreen tips. It's ugh. The bezels are on the larger side compared to what's on the market, just like every iPhone that's ever been out, ever. But the smaller screen size still keeps it on the compact side overall, which is really easily one of the most compelling aspects of the 7. And the two even more appealing aspects on the iPhone would be performance and camera quality. Day-to-day use, you'll rarely ever have performance issues. Gaming is great, multitasking is pretty good, the fingerprint scanner is buttery smooth and really accurate and pretty consistent. The only issue I've had is when your phone dies. First of all, a lot of times it takes so long to turn back on, but then when I turn it on, a lot of times the Messages app will take a couple minutes to open after rebooting the device. Kind of annoying, but not a big issue. And of course the camera. All reliable, all accurate. Far less saturated images than phones like the S7 and Google Pixel, and the pictures come out very lifelike. They're pretty accurate. They're plenty detailed with the 12 megapixel camera. The dual tone flash does a pretty good job at illuminating its subject and keeping it accurate. And video mode, whether it be 4K recording, slow-mo, or time lapses, all look really, really good. And I love using video on this, especially those time lapses. There's no manual controls outside of exposure and focus locking, but the average user, which Apple almost always caters towards, won't really miss out on that. Focus is fast and consistent, which is pretty much the story for all smartphones these days, but it's the same for here, just like every other past iPhone. And I've even started to appreciate the live photo feature that we saw introduced a while ago. It can really come in handy sometimes. And finally, being an iPhone means iOS 10, so there's plenty I like. Messages have seen an overhaul, which I can definitely appreciate in group chats. You can leave reactions to messages, you can draw handwritten messages, you can send message effects, heck, you can even play games, but that's really annoying in group chats, I have to say. Siri is slightly smarter as well and allows for third-party app support, so I can say things like, "Hey Siri, send $10 to Dad on the Cash App," and it'll do that with Touch ID, really simple and easy. Raise to Wake is a feature I really like, but I know plenty of people who feel the opposite. And of course, app support is still fantastic, and one of the reasons I stay with the iPhone for sure. Snapchat is just so much better on the iPhone than Android for whatever reason. It's a big difference. I use a lot of Google apps that work fantastic on the iPhone, Google Drive for school a lot. And also recently I've been using the Reuters TV app on my phone, and I actually found out that one of my really good friends also uses this app all the time. It's video news, it's completely video based, custom curated times, so however much time you have, you set that to it and it curates it for that. It's a service that's just flat out more efficient and honestly less biased than most news outlets that's out there today. And I'll leave a link to the app in the description if you're interested. Okay, but iOS 10 isn't all great and dandy, at least for me. There's some things that kind of just bother me, you know? Things are bigger and rounder and far less compact for seemingly no reason. Notifications take up more space. They show less content. Control Center is 2 pages now, which is fine. But when I'm trying to adjust my brightness, half the time it switches pages, it drives me crazy. You can see far less in the widget view and notification center, and in general, I'm not a fan of how bubbly things are. Again, it's kind of the theme of iOS 10 with the animations and the messages. They're trying to make it more continuous throughout the OS, but it's just things are bigger, less compact, and doesn't seem very practical. But it is what it is, and because it's Apple, because it's iOS 10, you're stuck with what you get. But at least this year you're stuck with a minimum of 32 gigabytes of storage, about time, and up to 256 gigabytes. I opted for the middleman, 128 gigabytes for a cool $750. Yeah, Apple alright. And Apple also means that the screen is the lowest resolution flagship on the market. Honestly, I'm not really complaining. It's a really nice, accurate screen. I haven't run into too many outdoor visibility issues. And if you use your phone at night, quick life hack. Go to Settings, General Accessibility, Zoom, Zoom Region, Full Screen Zoom, Zoom Filter, Low Light, Accessibility Shortcut, Zoom. Boom. You're welcome. And the biggest change is, of course, an Apple move. Goodbye, headphone jack. Rest in peace. And sure, it's the future, I suppose. Bluetooth is getting really good. Apple's new AirPods are really cool. Nothing that really interests me, though. And they do include an adapter in the box for connecting your standard headphones. But for those not 100% on the Bluetooth train, it's a nuisance to always have to have the adapter with you to listen to music. Not being able to listen to music and charge it at the same time natively is annoying and stupid. But as Apple, they made the sacrifice, and, well, people will still buy the phones, and I bought it, so, yeah. And finally, water resistance, a very, very cool feature. Some people will never take advantage of it, and if you're one of those people, probably don't upgrade to this phone. The 6S might be just fine for you. But for everyone else, not having to fear about your phone being in the rain or near a pool is awesome. I even take it into the shower and listen to music with it, no problems. And on top of that, these speakers have actually improved from the 6S. They're now stereo speakers, which is pretty nice. Alright, so the iPhone 7 is one interesting phone. It's a very clean, reliable, and safe phone. The build quality is top notch, the performance is excellent, and the camera is very good. Water resistance is here, which I was honestly surprised, but it lacks things like wireless charging, which I wish it had, or at least better battery life, because it's not particularly great on the iPhone 7. I definitely charge it multiple times every single day. The lack of a headphone jack is annoying to me, but it depends on your life. I'm always getting in friends' cars with the aux cables, so it might affect me more than you, and having dual cameras like on the 7 Plus would be fantastic and much welcome, but we'll see what happens next year. But for what it is, the iPhone 7 is absolutely an iPhone, and absolutely a phone from Apple. An expensive, pretty safe phone with a couple compromises, but a great option for millions of people out there. Not a guaranteed upgrade over the 6S, but a phone that will likely not disappoint if you get it. Thank you very much for watching this review. If you enjoyed, a thumbs up would be much appreciated. If you have any feedback at all for me, make sure to leave that in the comments. You can check out my social media at iTechWorld11, not Harris Craycraft. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.
Can you try me off?